She always said love was about choosing each other every day. I believed her because I was choosing her even when it wasn't easy. My name is Callum Reeves. I'm 42, born in Leeds, living in a quiet suburb where nothing dramatic ever seemed to happen. For 11 years, I was with Marissa Hale. Not married, but close enough that everyone assumed we would be. We shared routines, responsibilities, and a future that felt settled, if not perfect. I didn't expect fireworks forever. I expected effort, loyalty, and honesty. What I didn't expect was how quietly someone can replace you while you're still standing right there. Marissa was ambitious, social, magnetic in ways I never needed to be. I was steady. I worked logistics, paid my share, showed up on time, and listened when she talked. In the beginning, she used to say she liked how grounded I was, how I didn't need attention from every room. We cooked together, planned holidays we never quite took, talked about buying a place instead of renting. Somewhere along the way, those conversations stopped moving forward. Not backward either. They just stalled, like a car left idling too long. The first shift was subtle. She started staying late after work more often. Networking events, team drinks, last-minute meetings. I didn't question it. I trusted her. When she came home distracted, phone always in her hand, I told myself this was normal. Everyone unwinds differently. When she stopped asking about my day, I filled the silence by asking about hers. When she stopped touching me casually, I told myself not to be needy. Men aren't supposed to notice these things, right? We're supposed to be solid, unshakable. Then she mentioned him. Just a name at first. Adrian. A colleague. Funny guy. Smart. Nothing alarming, nothing dramatic. I nodded, listened, didn't react. I didn't want to be the insecure partner reading too much into harmless details. But his name started appearing more often than mine did in her stories. His jokes, his opinions, his advice. I became the background character in my own relationship, useful but replaceable. The night she finally said it out loud was strangely calm. No shouting, no accusations. We were sitting at the kitchen table, takeaway containers between us. She didn't look nervous. She looked resolved. She said she developed feelings for Adrian. Said it wasn't planned. Said it just happened. Then she said the sentence that ended everything. She wanted to explore it. She wanted to choose him, at least for now. I waited for the part where she asked me to fight. To convince her. To compete. It never came. She spoke like she was explaining a schedule change, not dismantling 11 years. I felt heat in my chest, but my voice stayed even. I asked one question. Are you asking me to stay while you figure this out? She hesitated, then nodded. That was my answer. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I didn't demand explanations she'd already rehearsed. I stood up, cleared my plate, and told her I hoped she found what she was looking for. I packed a bag that night. Only essentials. Clothes, charger, documents. She watched from the doorway, silent, maybe surprised I wasn't performing pain the way she expected. When I closed the door behind me, I didn't look back. Not because I was trying to prove something, but because I already knew what I'd see. Someone comfortable with losing me. The weeks after were quiet. I stayed with my brother in New York, slept in a spare room, went to work like nothing had happened. I blocked Marissa on social media without announcing it. I didn't ask mutual friends for updates. I focused on rebuilding routines that didn't include her. Gym in the mornings. Long walks at night. Cooking for one. The absence hurt, but it was clean pain, not the slow erosion I'd been living with. 3 months later, my phone buzzed with a number I hadn't saved, but recognized instantly. Her message was careful. She hoped I was well. She said she'd been thinking. Things with Adrian hadn't turned out the way she imagined. She missed what we had. She wondered if we could talk. I read it twice, then put the phone face down on the table. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired. When we met, she looked smaller somehow. Less certain. She talked about mistakes, confusion, how she'd taken my presence for granted. She said leaving had shown her what stability really meant. She waited for my response like someone waiting for a verdict. I listened without interrupting. When she finished, I told her the truth. That I believed she was sorry. That I didn't hate her. But that I couldn't unlearn what I'd learned. When someone chooses another person, they don't get to come back to the version of you who stayed. I told her I had walked away not out of pride, but self-respect. That love without choice is just convenience. She cried quietly. I stayed calm. When we stood to leave, she reached for my hand, then stopped herself. That restraint said more than any apology. I walked home alone that evening, the air sharp and clear. I realized something important. Walking away hadn't made her return. It had changed me. I no longer needed to be chosen to feel whole. I had chosen myself, and that was something no one else could take away. Later that night, I slept deeply for the first time in months. No rehearsed conversations, no imagined alternate endings. Just rest. I understood then that closure doesn't arrive when someone regrets losing you. It arrives when you stop needing their regret to justify your decision. I hadn't won. I hadn't lost. I had simply stepped off a path that no longer led anywhere worth going. And that quiet certainty felt stronger than love ever had. I moved forward knowing peace is earned by leaving, not waiting, and never negotiating worth.